Siddhartha Gautama, soon to be the Buddha, sat in nature under the Bodhi tree when he became enlightened. His teachings, based off his revelations, valued ideals such as interconnectedness, karma, and non-attachment. With such values, one would think Buddhist countries would have a strong environmental awareness. Of course, if we look at Southeast Asian Buddhist countries in a modern context, it is easy to question the extent of impact that Buddhist values have on the daily lives of those living in these countries, encountering environmental degradation. Buddhist doctrine in Southeast Asia shows an ambivalence towards the environment. It can promote an environmentally conscious attitude, but it can also be interpreted to devalue nature. Although major environmental detriments were lacking at the time when the Buddha lived, many of his teachings can be interpreted to show a respect towards the natural environment. One core value is that of ahimsa, or non-violence. This includes any being, whether it is a tree, plant, or animal. Deforestation not
1 minute, meditating with the in and out breathing. As we close our eyes naturally and moderately, we observe the incoming breath and outgoing breath naturally. We can feel the flow of the air element inside when we are breathing in and breathing out naturally. Keeping ourselves inside the inner world. Feel calm and peaceful. We appreciate every moment that we are able to breathe in and out peacefully on this earth due to the surrounding environments. First of all, I would like to pay my homage and veneration to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. My great respect to all venerable Sanghas, and especially most venerable speaker who are in this broadcast today. Also, my great respect and cordial loving kindness to all friends of the universe. Today, Dhammika Life is very honored to host with you the environmental topic, which is about life and environment. We feel very honored as well to have invited our three honorable speakers to join with us today. And just a reminder that today, June 5th, is the World Environmental Day that annually organizes for the world, which encourages worldwide awareness and action for the protection of the environment. It is celebrated every year in over 100 countries. And the theme for World Environment for 2020 is Time for Nature, and to celebrate biodiversity, which means various forms of life on this Earth planet. And As the saying goes, the statement that has been raised by the United Nations that the foods we eat, the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the climate that makes our planet habitable for all come from nature. For instance, each year, marine plants produce more than half of our atmosphere oxygen, and a mature tree cleans our air, absorbing 22 kilos of carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen in exchange. Despite all the benefits that our nature gives us, we still mistreat it. That is why we need to work on that. That is why we need this observance. World Environmental Day hosted by Colombia for this 2020 and is the most renowned day for environmental action. Since 1974, it has been celebrated every year on June 5th, engaging governments, businesses, celebrities, and citizens to focus their efforts on pressing environmental issues. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our three honorable speakers who are joining with us today. First of all, we have Ms. Ms. Satiwi, founder of Think Plastic, a digital environmental advocacy campaign that motivates citizens to take action to reduce plastic waste and single-use plastic across the country. Besides, she is also a professional coach in multimedia and advisor in videography and photography. Secondly, we very honored to have with us Mr. Chuninam. Currently, he is a lead trainer at Impact Hub Phnom Penh, co-founder and lead trainer of Vipassana, author of a national best-selling book, Meditation for Energy of Life, Samadhi Nambai Dhamma Jivat. And he has also been well known as a motivational speaker and assisting in meditation courses with the youth and children. And I would like to also introduce the distinguished guest, Most Venerable Kassapa Honkamra, who is the Executive Director of International Cambodian Buddhist Center in Sri Lanka. Phante Kamara is a young intellectual Cambodian monk who has been very active and dynamic in spreading the Buddha's teaching through series of Dhamma talks, Buddhism classes in English, and especially he has been providing mental healing through psychology and Buddhist meditation to many locals and also internationals alike. Without further ado, I would like to start my first question, but before that, I would like to take a little bit notice that we are not a expert on environment nor professional, but as a living creature on this Earth's planet who benefit and take advantage from the environment, the nature, we care and love for the environment, our own home, the place where we live every day. So right now, let me start off with the first question to Ms. Satiwi. If you may, can you explain what is environment and how is it related to our daily life, please?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to pay my respect to Prakonajak and Bong Chuni and all of everyone that joining the live session today. It's my honor to be part of this conversation. So environment, I'm sure that everyone know it, everything around us is environment. So you are part of my environment. I also part of your environment. And it really depends on how you would define it like differently. Whether like you define it like a living environment or non-living environment. So the living environment such as like ourselves, animal, like any living thing, and the non-living thing is such as tree, flower, sea, mountain, yes, stuff like that. So some definition also like would define like cultural environment as well. So environment is really important because like we are part of the environment and we actually every day live within the environment. And then so that's why today is the World Environment Day. We all have to remember that environment is really important. So that's why we need to protect it at some point. Otherwise, when we destroy the environment, like it's the same as like we destroy our life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Satyavi, for providing the explanation concerning with what is environment, as she has already explained us that everything which is surrounded us, whether it is having a life or a non-living one, every surrounding, the nature, the creature, the living creatures like trees, forests, waterfall, lands, mountains, all kinds of wildlife and all human living beings are all included in what we call as environment. So as we see that environment is what we are, and we are part of environment. So it is very important to keep in mind that we don't live apart from the nature, from the environment. And even within our own physical body, there also exists endowed with the four natural elements, what we call the solidity, the earth element, the water element, the air element, and the fire element. So I would like to move to the second question, and that is for Brother Namchuni. Is environment important in the case of meditating? I know you have been leading many meditation courses to youths and leaders of the communities in Cambodia, as well as to foreign communities. So how is it like the environment, the relationship of environment with the meditation practice? As sometime I have noticed that you have led the meditation camping at the resort, at the beach, so sometimes in the forest. So how is it related? And when it comes to meditation practice, is environment important in such a case?
Thank you, Venerable Prada. It's my great honor to be here tonight in the conversation with you about the environment and meditation. Yeah, definitely it's really important. So when we look back to the Buddha time, the Buddha was born under the tree. He gained enlightenment under the tree. He also passed away under the trees as well. So this is how Buddhism related. Buddha himself quite related with the nature, with the environment. So when we meditate, when we are mindful on ourselves, it's actually affect to the whole world. Our action, we say effect of our action and the world. That when we meditate, we kind of avoid the damage of ourselves and the damage of the environment and the nature as well. So that's why it's so important to live our life with self-awareness. For example, when the food we eat, within the food, we may see the light of the sun, we may see the water, we may see the tree, we may see the earth, and we may see everything within the food we eat, within the place we live as well. So when we are mindful of how we act, of how we live our life, we care ourselves. That means we have compassionate to the environment around. We have compassionate to the sentient being, also to the environment around as well. For example, When we lead a camping with the youth at the beach or at the resort with a lot of tree, sometimes we have the student to sit at the tree and then reflect themselves with the tree. How our life and the tree are not quite different. So when we take care of the tree or when we take care of ourselves well, it means we take care of the whole world well. But the most important thing is we learn how to take care of ourselves mindfully so that we can have more compassion to all the sentient being as well. So this is how we first started with ourselves so that we can spread out to the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Chuni, for your very interesting elaboration about the meditation practice, which connects with the nature and environment. So again, thank you so much for sharing with us. And I would like to pass the third question to our venerable speaker, Hon Kamara, who is right now live from the Vipassana Center of the Kingdom of Cambodia. So talking about the environment, like Brother Chuni and Sister Satyavi had already mentioned from different perspectives, but right now I would like you to explain according to the Buddhist perspective, what has the Buddha said in any sutras or in any disciplinary rules book that talks about life and environment. Could you elaborate on that a little bit according to the teachings of the Buddha, please?
Pay my homage to the Triple Gem, my dear respected Venerable Sirs, and especially Venerable Soktivi, dear devotees, and especially our two guest speakers. As far as I am concerned, according to Buddhist perspective, in the light of the discourses, disciplinary codes, and Abhidhamma, Buddhism emphasizes that environment is a part of the spirituality. So spiritual development or spiritual progress is a state of correlationship with environment. In Adhammika Sutta, it is demonstrated descriptively that when the entire humankind are spiritually corrupted, unrighteous, undisciplined, and unvirtuous, the moon, the sun, the stars are becoming chaotic, dangerous, devastatingly erratic. So day, night, weather, seasons, air, water are becoming dangerous, are becoming poisonous. So when the entire cosmology is dangerous, is poisonous, we human are becoming sick. So when the entire cosmology is sick, the human are becoming ill too. So, I mean, according to this sutta discourse, Buddhism strongly implies that what goes around comes around. Everything is about action and reaction. Climate change, global warming. I mean, it is all about cause and effect of the barbaric human behavior. So secondly, Buddhism strongly holds eco-friendliness view. Buddha's most significant life events, you know, his birth, enlightenment, and supreme complete Nibbana, are the apparent and vivid manifestation and embodiment of the ideology of eco-friendliness. And thirdly, it is about environment conservative view. Deforestation, air pollution, water pollution, and any kinds of pollutions are greatly condemned in Buddhism. And they are considered as the violating of some, you know, particular rules in the teaching. So last but not the least, gratefulness to environment is an incredible characteristic in Buddhism. You know, Animistologian Puja suggests that Buddha is one and only human being and a religious master who spent 7 days consecutively looking at a tree without blinking to express his gratitude to a bird tree who gave his shelter to attain enlightenment. So in conclusion, in the light of points have been made, Buddhism strongly emphasizes that environment is a part of spirituality, spiritual development. That is why we must be kind, compassionate, friendly to the environment. We must protect and love, conserve, preserve as much as we can, because our entire life depends on the entire ecosystem. So that's all from me. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Venerable Piku on camera, for your very insightful and very interesting subject that you have covered about the teachings in Buddhism. Especially you have mentioned about the unique characteristic of the Buddha. Before he gained enlightenment, he spent 7 days looking at the Bodhi tree without an eye blinking, as to express a sign of gratitude to the place where he has spent and the condition to gain the Buddhahood. So I really very much appreciate for the point that you have raised in here, and it even adds more concrete point to the discussing right now. So without further ado, I also would like to raise another question to Ms. Sativi about how do human activities contribute to climate change, and how does it influence our daily life?
Thank you. That's a very good question. We all human violate the environment in so many ways. So that's why it causes the harm to the environment. So before we know how to protect the environment, I think we should identify how we as a human destroy the environment. So we know that there's so many pollution, either like air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution. So most of them actually caused by human. So there's a lot of industrial that kind of like create a lot of like solid waste, and also liquid waste that kind of like flow into the river, and like all the waste that kind of like throw on the land and end up in the river or in the sea at some point. And also like there's a lot of burning as well, and also the smoke from the industry that kind of like pollute the air. So if we understand the root cause of the problem, we will be able to identify the solution. So as I mentioned earlier, it starts from human being. So like we actually start to destroying the environment around ourselves, around our country, and also as well as around the globe. So every individual on earth should have the conscious that it is their duty to play some part, like very small part if they can, in order to protect the environment. So I would like to share my experience on how I contribute to protect the environment. So I myself, I'm really concerned about what's going on here in Cambodia regarding to the single-use plastic problem. So I can say like there's a lot of plastic waste around Cambodia, and then you should know that the Ministry of Environment mentioned that every day Cambodia create 2,000 tons of plastic waste, like 2,000 tons of plastic waste every day. That only in Cambodia. So there's a lot of waste. So some of them end up in the landfill, some of them end up like on the street and in the river. Yeah. So that really pollute the environment. First of all, it pollute like the landscape, it pollute the land, and also polluting the river. And among all of those waste being burned out. So when they being burned down, so the smoke kind of like release into the air, and then it kind of like pollute the air. So we as an individual can do a little bit of the thing that we can in order to help to reduce the amount of pollution in our everyday life. So as I mentioned, as plastic pollution is really bad, and it created mostly by human actually. So all we can do is just start to reduce the use of the single-use plastic as much as we can. And as for industrial and also like food and beverage sector, should find other additional material in order to replace the single-use plastic. So there should be like something that organic or biodegradable product that should be used and served to the customer, and then so that we all together can be able to reduce the use of the single-use plastic. And by doing that, that means we be able to have to protect the environment in a way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Satyavi, for sharing your experience with us. I know that you have been working very dynamic with the Think Plastic campaign, and I myself is a fan of your page and have been following your video activities that promotes, also bring social awareness to care for the plastic use that we overuse each and every day of our life. Even for myself as a Buddhist monk, I have been like overused, and sometimes we were not aware that what we use on daily basis really contribute to the climate change and to the pollution of the environment. For taking as an instance, like when I go to coffee shop, we never bring a bottle to put the coffee, but instead we just take the plastic bottle or any kind of plastic bag in order to wrap or put as a container. So that ways we produce more and more plastics and waste to throw at our land. So thank you very much for sharing this point with us. And coming back to Brother Namchuni, I would also like you to elaborate a little bit more on how human behavior and activity would spoil the environment where we live. Can you take any small example of yourself, like, on a daily basis, how your action would impact the environment?
Thank you, Venerable Brother. Once again, it's a really good question. So how I practice myself. I know. I mean, as a human being, we do know quite a lot of how we take care of our environment. But the problem is the habit that we are doing every day. We just want to find something easy and lazy. That's why you can see the plastic anywhere and everywhere. The habit that we can do. We can have, for example, going to coffee or going to the market. We can have our own clothes bag. We can have our own thing that we can stop. But normally we don't do that. Myself, every day that I do, I try every possible way to reduce how I use plastic bag at home or when I go to market. Terry, I know Terry is laughing because I even straw now. I use you know how I use iron straw. Let me show. I use an I use an iron straw. I also use a the water bottle. Before I use a lot of plastics as well, but through working with Venerable Theory and that group and also Theory, and then how I start to apply that. That's why I said early on. I mean, we know too much, we feel too little, and we know too much, we don't do what we know. We know that by doing this, having a lot more plastic can cause more danger to the environment, can cause more danger to the life as well. But we actually don't really do it. So that's why the simple step that we can start from ourselves is number one, try to reduce more plastic as much as we can. Number two is we probably use iron straw or the straw for our own. And number three, use more of the water bottle of ourselves. Wherever we go, we're supposed to bring that with our own. We put in a bag, or as a monk can put in the monk bag as well. So this is how I see. This is how I start to practice myself. I don't plant my tree around home. So, but at least I do something to reuse the plastic as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Chani, for sharing what you have been doing. And yeah, it's good to start with something simple that we can do on everyday life. And just like for me as a monk, I've been using the monk bag. So everywhere we go, we don't need to bring more plastic bags to the monastery. So Venerable on camera, what is your idea concerning with the human's behavior that may impact badly to the place where we live?
Thank you, Venerable, for the question again. According to my point of view, the most influential, behavior of human having impact on the environmental crisis, and it can be described as, pollution, is because of human has more selfishness, or in Buddhism we call it, can be defilement or desire. And when we have less, friendliness or kindness or compassion towards our environment, everything will be devastating. So the first point is, every single of us as humans forget that environment, the earth, the entire cosmos, entire ecology is a part of our life. Everything is there. Like in Buddhism, we talk about internal and external. So we have 4 elements within us, and the external elements are there. So it means that, as I mentioned in my earlier point, that we are interconnected. We are interconnected. It's about collectiveness. It's about mutual correlationship between human and the environment. So when we have more, desire, the environment will be in trouble. And that is a saying. It goes like this. I think everyone knows that the earth provides enough to satisfy human needs, but not human greed. So from Buddhist point of view, so the best solution for the environmental, conservation, to, the best solution for all the pollution, first, I think we have to educate human to be kind and to know the best value of the environment. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Most Reverend Sir, for providing your insightful, concrete reasons for the condition that human activities may contribute to the impact of the environment and the nature where we live. So before I jump to next questions for our speakers, I would like also to remind that we are broadcasting this for 1 hour and 15 minutes, and right now we have already spent 40 minutes. And I would like to bring attention to all audience who are watching right now that you also can drop your questions if there is any question you would like to know, or if there is anything unclear about the topic what we are discussing right now. So you can also drop your questions in the live, and at the end of the session I will bring all your questions to our speakers. So further, I would also like to ask some more questions to our speakers. We have already talked detail about what caused the problems to the environment, what is environment, and also things which are related to life and environment. And it sounds like too many problems right now that we as a human being behave and also contribute to the damage of the environment, especially the earth planet that we are living right now. So coming back to the solution, I would like to ask for maybe any solution that our speakers might have about way to save our planet, as we know that we have been overthrown and overused a lot of things which overloaded to the earth planet, to the mother nature. So I would like to put the first question to Ms. Sativi. What are some daily routines you do in order to keep the environment and the planet safe and clean according to your experience? So just share with us some of the activities or ways that you have been doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good question. As you mentioned that I'm running the Think Plastic campaign, so every day I show everyone how I'm doing it, the way that I'm respond to the environment, the way that I'm trying to protect the environment. So believe it or not, I carry this bottle with me like everywhere. I can say like everywhere. So I can use this after for water, or I can buy coffee. So there's no way that I need to take the plastic cup or plastic bottle. So that being said, it really simple thing that everyone can just take action in everyday life in order to contribute to the environment. So there's not just like one principle. There's so many ways that we be able to do it. So as an individual, you can always celebrate like the World Environmental Day like every day. Just like me, I don't feel like World Environmental Day is special, because like every day is special day. Every day is the day that you can pay your contribution to protect the environment. So that's why if you check on Think Plastic, I don't do anything in particular to celebrate the World Environment Day, because I don't want people to think like, okay, we only celebrate World Environmental Day just for one day. So it's not about one day, it's every day that we can do to protect the environment. And so personally, everyone can contribute in so many ways, by just like not create so much waste. That can also one thing, like you plant more tree, you grow more tree if you can. That also another way that you can have the environment. And that should also like consider in a larger scale, such as like the business owner. Food industry, beverage industry kind of like create a lot of waste every day. So if they kind of like have the policy that try to reduce it in a way, I think that will be good, because like it will impact in a greater way. Like as us individual, we can all contribute in a very small part. But if the company, if the corporate like that have a lot of employee and be able to put some policy that everyone have to follow, I think that will gain a big impact. And to sum up, I think you can just do so many things, in your daily life in order to have the environment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Satevi, for your very informative knowledge you share with us with the Think Plastic campaign. And you mentioned about the Environment Day should be every day, not just for June 5th, right? So June 5th, it is only a day to remind, to bring global awareness to all of us as a living creature on this planet, to be aware and take care for the place where we live. So Environment Day should be every day, and we can do something, start from small thing, like, begin with your water bottle everywhere, your coffee bottle everywhere, and your bag everywhere, especially when you go shopping. Now, coming back to Brother Chuni, what are some activities you do every day in order to help save our planet become more beautiful and safe, healthy?
Thank you, Venerable Brother, once again. Um, Let me just take back a little bit of the Buddha in the Buddha time. So the Buddha talked about the Eightfold Path. Within that, there's a two main thing called right mindfulness and right effort. So within the right effort, each day in whatever way we try to put an effort into a positive way, where try to reduce plastic as much as we can. And right mindfulness, or be mindful of how we act, of how we respond to environment daily. Like Satevi was just saying, by probably plant more tree, even just small plant at home, or plant some tree at the temple or in the village, any way that we can. But be mindful of how we use plastic. Be mindful of how we use the water bottle. Be mindful of how we use the straw. Is it should we carry our own iron straw, or should we carry our own bottled water, so that we try to reuse the plastic bottle as much as we can? So my small activity that I do every day now, it's just two simple things that I told you. Number one, try to reuse plastic as much as I can at home. Number two, when I go out, I try to carry more bottles of water with myself. And be aware when we go to the market. Normally, everything that we buy, even small thing, the seller probably put you into different plastic bag. So either we don't take the plastic, we have our own closed bag, or try to put that into one place. So just be mindful of whatever we use. Just be mindful of whatever we act, respond to the environment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Chini, for your elaboration onto daily mindfulness what relates to the environment, the place where we live. Would be very helpful to contribute to reduce the heavy load of the Earth planet. And again, I would also direct this question to Most Venerable Hon Camera for elaborating from the Buddhist perspective. How would you do, and especially what are your daily routines to make this planet and our environment become safer and more beautiful?
Thank you again, Venerable Satevi, for the question. As I have mentioned earlier, deforestation, air pollution, and any kinds of pollution are greatly condemned in Buddhism. But instead, we are the disciples of the Buddha, are encouraged, motivated, advised to plant trees, do gardening, dig ponds, lakes, well, for the sake of others' well-being and welfare. And let me be very honest with you that Environment Day is every day. This concept is derived from Buddhism. You know why? Because in one particular discourse, Buddha, demonstrated that planting trees, doing gardening, digging, lake and well are the most powerful way of collecting merits. It means you are collecting merits day and night. It means 24 hours you are collecting merits when you plant a tree, because you give everything to the entire society. It means it's about carbon neutral. This what we are gaining from the tree. So as a monk, what I'm doing every day is I meditate and being with the nature. And there is very most popular verse, and Venerable Sutri know that Aram Ramaniyani Aranyani Yatana Ramati Yano Vitaraga Ramesanti Nateka Magavesino. The one who is in search of inner happiness or inner peace is fond of and finds delight in serene and beautiful forest. But the sensual pleasure seekers don't. So real Buddhists, you must love and meditate. And you know why? When you meditate, I know that the positivity of my mind, the pure mind, make the environment around me healthy and clean, because the power of mind is very important. And secondly, I'm trying my best to follow my disciplinary rules, because monks are not allowed to pluck even a leaf or branches of the tree. So it's a contribution to environmental conservation. And thirdly, it's a betrayal to the friendship, because tree is regarded as a genuine friend according to Buddhism. So when you cut the tree, you are not a good friend. You are not a genuine friend. You are betrayal to the friend. So, and what I have done so far, it's not like, long time. It has been around 4 years when, especially when I came to Cambodia, I decided, what? Not to drink a can drinks, because I think that it's kinds of contribution to minimize and reduce the harmful waste disposal to the earth. So I think, and let me say this, the real contribution must come within. If we cannot stop people from cutting the trees or destroy the planet, at least we must contribute even from the small part, like Sister TV and Mr. Chuni mentioned, that just do your part. Don't worry about other parts. Just do your part. Try your best to save our mother planet. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Most Venerable on camera, for sharing your thoughts from the Buddhist perspective. And it is very interesting to note that in the Buddhism, it has mentioned in many places in the Vinaya, in the Suttanta, it also in Abhidhamma, and also about Vipassana and meditation, that the Buddha was the environmentalist, and he cares so much about the environment. That is why he has so many disciplinary rules promulgated for his followers, especially the Bhikkhu Sangha, not even to to spit on the grass into the water, or even to pluck a flowers or cut down a branch of trees, not even to totally cut down the whole tree, but even just to pick a leaf out of a tree would entail offenses. So from this point of view, we can understand that the Buddha was very environmentalist. He cares so much about the environment, the planet, the mother nature, whom we live with everyday life. And we can look back at the historical life of the Buddha himself, since when he was a Siddhartha, who was the prince of the kingdom. And so, after he become ordaining as a samana. So he sat down, he spent so many years meditating in the jungles, in the forests, and dwell under the trees, living in the forest with the natures, and even he has some good connection with the wildlife. So we can see that from the day he was born and the day he gained enlightenment, and also the very last day of his Mahaparinibbana also happened miraculously and under the tree. So we can take as a awareness that the Buddha was a very environmentalist, and he fall in love with the nature, and he even encouraged all followers to respect the nature, love the nature as we love our life. So thank you very much for Venerable Hon Camera for taking this point to explain more. Now I would like to jump to another question for our audience, and also especially for the speakers who are waiting right now. We have been talking a lot about the cause or the root of the problems which badly impact the environment, and also the solution in order to end that problem and save the environment, become safer and healthier. But yesterday we also discussed about that, and people have been asking about it is easier said than done, when we talk about the problems, and we know the source of the problem, and we know the way to end the problem. But the problem here is that how are we, how do we go about doing that? Because as the nature of our habit as a human being, we don't really care so much sometimes. Even we know a lot of things, we have a lot of knowledge, but coming to practice is really it's really a very difficult thing to do. So it's about the habit, the activity that we've been performing day by day. We are accumulating, generating each and every moment, and that becomes as a character, as a habit. So I would like to ask first question to Mr. Tivi. Is there any way to change the habit? Because as you've been working with the plastic, with the ways how to bring people's awareness about throwing trash or putting dividing trash into the right bin, but some people still lack or neglect about this problem because of their habits. So what is your solution in order to have change the habit of people?
Thank you. That's a very good question. I think a lot of people have share similar concern that we know that we love the environment, we know that we want to contribute, but for some reason, like, we fail to do it. So it's simple. Actually, it's simple, and it happened to everyone. Like, it's not all the time that we be able to practice what we plan to do. So that's why when we say habit is really important, and habit cannot happen until you put into practice. So let's say Bom Chini just mentioned, like, he started to use the tumbler, the water bottle bring with him. So I'm sure that countless times that he forget, right? So it also the same with me, that before I be able to carry this with me like every day, I also forget it almost like countless times. But I never give up, and then I keep practicing it again and again, and then at some point it become like habit. When it become habit, like, it will be there. And I also like to challenge people, because like, we every day we carry our cell phone, our smartphone with us every day. So why do we have that habit, right? So is there anyone like keep forcing us, like, okay, you have to bring your smartphone all the time? No, it's not. But because of the need, and we really care about our smartphone, so that's why we be able to carry it all the time. Believe it or not, even go to toilet, people carry their smartphone, right? So it's the same here. Like, you want to be able to, like, carry your own bottle, have your bag every time, you need to do it. And one example that I like to share as well, like, it happened to me all the time. Like, I don't really like the takeaway food. So normally I would bring my own box, my own container, because I know that every time that I'm take out food, I will bring a lot of plastic with me. And here in Cambodia, there's not so many biodegradable options. So want it or not, you will bring plastic home. So that's the problem. So for me, I always bring my own box. But do I always bring my own box? No, not all the time. Like I forget all the time. Yeah. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I bring them with me. So what happened when you feel like okay now you want to buy takeout, you want to get takeout food and you don't have your own box. So like me, I always keep thinking like it always play back and forth in my head that like should I buy or should I not? Can I wait? Can I come back again or can I take out tomorrow? You know. So most of the time I say no to myself. Okay, I can wait. The restaurant still there. You know, the Chechen still there. I know the place. So if I want to eat Chechen, I can always come back. You know, like so next time remember. You know, so it kind of like a little bit of punishment to myself that I forget to bring what I supposed to bring. So and then later on it become habit. So right now in my own bag, in my own like in my backpack, I have a small bag. And in my scooter, like my motorbike, I also have it underneath the seat, you know. So I have one or I have two. So keep doing that every day, it becomes habit. And it's not easy, believe it or not, it's not easy. And then I would encourage like everyone that want to create it into the habit that if you fail to do it, don't feel dismotivated. Like do it again. Like you can always restart, like do it again. And there is no right or wrong. And there is no one should be able to judge you. Okay, this is not good. You failed to do it. No, it's not. It's about your own habit. You should create it by yourself and do it slow. You don't need to. Okay, now I'm love the environment and then I will go no like plastic free from today. So I don't think that's gonna happen. So take it slow and a little bit by a little. That the principle, that the recipe to be able like have a good habit of learning and protecting the environment. And if you be able to do that, that means you do it from heart. And when you do it from heart, it's always there. And it's always there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Sylvie. A very interesting point that you raised about, do it from your own heart and take small step every day. It is important to take it slowly, but take it every day, so it becomes a habit. Now, Brother Chuni, you have been leading so many meditation courses. Is there any technique of meditation that can train one to develop something new to become a habit? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Thank you. I think it takes courage, It takes courage to change our habit. We say, like you, Venerable, was saying that it's easy to say, but it's not easy to do. It's easy, said than done. So I think come to the three most important points. Number one, the question we ask, do we care enough about the environment? Do we care enough what we wanted to do? Like Sativi was saying about, if we motivate by our own heart, we keep doing it every day. Like Venerable Hun Kamara was saying also, to be able to understand more, to find more peace, we need to relate a lot with the nature. So when the question, do we care enough about our environment? When we have that question again and again, and we understand that question, I am sure we will take courage to do it step by step every day, because it does, remember that it does take time and effort to change anything in life, because we know like the people at 15 years old, 20 years old, 35 years old, we haven't heard a lot before this word. Now we start to hear and we see a lot more people doing it. If we do it because a lot of other people are doing it, maybe it's not going to last long. But if we do it because we understand the value of doing this and we do care about it, then we will do it by our heart, step by step, every day. And a habit of being mindful, a habit of meditating. So the more we meditate, the more we create a state or awareness, self-awareness of how we live our life, how we act, respond to the environment, how we act, respond to our own community. We want to see good environment. We want to live in a good community. So that, like Venerable Camera was just saying, let's do our part first. Other big organizations, the government do their own part, but we ourselves start to plan it within our own heart, within our own part, step by step. So again, and the last point, we say it takes courage to plan a small habit step by step, and keep asking yourself every day, do I care enough about this thing? Do I understand about what I am doing? Or am I doing it because of my friend asked me to do it? So when we have these three questions again and again each day, then we will start to act it within our heart, from our heart. Then the action will create more voice, create more impact to our own community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Chuni. Do we care enough, and do we understand what we are doing? So we have to understand the value of what we are doing, and we have to care for what is most important for our life. Thank you for raising this point out. And again, Venerable Hun Camera, we have seen that talking is easy, but practicing is very difficult, as the habit of everyone, including us as a Buddhist monk. Sometimes we very neglect concerning with the daily materials that we use on a daily basis. Sometimes it seems like we have spent so much trash, using a lot of materials, and in return we throw those trashes onto the planet, which also one of the reasons to impact the world environment every day. So according to your experience, how will you advise our young monks at the temple, especially at the place where you lead right now? How would you go about spreading the message, advising your fellow monks, especially the young monks, in order to develop the good habit and eliminate those habits? Is there any Dhamma or any teachings in Buddhism that teach about ways to develop good thing as a good habit?
Thank you, Venerable Sokchivi, for the question again. Let me say this. Something is better than nothing. So let us do our part. Let's come plan. It's very important for the ecology conservation. For me, doing is much easier than thinking, because when you think a lot, when you have more knowledge, can I do this, can I do that, it never happens. You have to strongly make a decision to do. So doing is easier than thinking, according to Buddhist philosophy. I mean, too much thinking is kind of, obsession. You can't do anything if you have plenty of thoughts. Where should I go? Just do and let it see. It's good or bad, you just check your result. And let me say this, but you take the baby steps. I mean, I know it's really hard, it's tough to change the habits. It takes grit, it takes motivation, it takes persistence, it takes everything. But the most important you have to remember is, it's not about environmental environment conservation or save the environment. It's not about being practical or not. It's about, for me, it's about willingness. Deliberately willingness. If you want to do or not, that is very important. So intention, from Buddhist point of view, intention is very important. We call it willingness. But this willingness is really hard to be constructed. You know why? Because every single of us, including monks, we are human, and the nature of the human is having more desire, and we have more laziness than effort. So to change that, I have many, baby steps from the Buddhist perspective is, to cultivate the willingness towards the environment. First, you have to teach the young monks why we should love the environment. This is the first thing. And you have, it's really hard. You have to convince them that environment is part of your life. You must love it. And second one is, normally I let them read or every day after the namaskar or daily chanting, I let them chant it very loudly, taking their right hand, put on the chest and say it. We are, to love the environment. You have to repeatedly say it again and again and again, because not to change the hands, for me, not before you change your habits, I think you have to change here, head, and you have to change your heart first. Otherwise, you might have plenty of knowledge, but you are still in the same place. So change here, it means we need meditation or any kinds of psychological treatment to change the way the human think. So from this point of view, education is very important to convince every single of us to love the environment. So first, education is very important, and that is why we are trying our best to convey, the teaching to the people. So in conclusion, first, you have to let them meditate, and you have to convince them very strongly that environment is part of our life. And finally, you have to let them love and change their bed first. Before you let them change the entire environment, the first baby step to be taken is let them change their bed when they are getting up. Prepare your bed very properly before you leave to the washroom. So this is the way we train young monks to change habit. And it's really, let me be very honest with you, because they come from different background in Cambodia, and I don't want to say that, but that is, we try our best to change our young monk. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, most venerable on camera, for sharing your experience with the young monks. It's really hard, not an easy thing to work with, young people and especially children. We need to, give a lot of advice, and also at the same time we need to act in order to develop their good habit. So in the same way, Venerable have provided some of the method, especially from the Buddha's teaching, like we need to have the right intention, or we need to have the willingness, the chanda in the Buddha's teaching. Otherwise, the habit is hard to develop, because we are lack of will to do it, desire to do it. So first of all, start from our intention, and Venerable has said we need to change from our head and then from our heart, and then habit can start right there and then. So thank you very much again for all distinguished and honorable speakers for spending the time with us. And we have a few minutes left, so I would like to invite each of the speakers to spend about 1 minute addressing what is the most concerned thing about environment that you care, and also you would like to address on this World Environment Days for 2020. So I would like to start off with Nekru Sutivi.
Thank you again. I think the more concern we already discussed that this day, I would say the earth is sick. So the Mother Earth is sick because there's a pollution everywhere, water pollution, air pollution, soil pollution. So it really needs special attention. And should we do it now? It's now. Now it's the right time, and we cannot wait. So it's everyone's duty that have to give it back to the nature. So we take a lot of advantage from the nature, so it's time to give it back. And If you never done anything before, it's never too late to start. So every small thing is count. So start from the small thing, and it will create a good habit, and later on you will be able to do better and greater for the environment. And by doing so, you will start to inspire people around you, and that's the most important. That's the key, because if you start to inspire more people to do so, imagine the power of people working together in order to protect the environment. That is really, really strong. So we need all of you, we need everyone to take part in this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Start right now, and it's never too late to start right here and now. Again, Brother Chuni, what's your last message from the practical meditation perspective? What is your last message to also celebrate the World Environmental Day? Choose me, brother. I cannot hear you.
Like, thank you, Venerable Brother. Like, so here we were just saying the world or the earth is sick right now. So it's time that we pay back. We don't need to wait. It's time that we pay the gratitude back to the earth, to the universe. So within that, I would say the power of one start from our own action. Each day, maybe do something. Just do some small thing that contribute to the health of the nature, that contribute to the positive impact to the nature around us. Don't, if we can do a big thing, don't ever think that this is too big or I can't start because it's too big. Just say the word to ourselves every day, maybe the power of one. Start doing that from our own small action each day. We contribute to the nature in a positive way. So that by doing that for 30 days, 30 days will be 30 small things that we do every day for 1 month. Then it will create impact for the people around. Once that moment happens, then more people will join the tribe, more people will join the crowd, and then we'll start to see better way. We start to feel good that we do something to pay back or gratitude or grateful to the nature before we go back, before we die, before we go back to the old nature where we came from. So at least just do something each day. That's called the power of one. Start small thing within ourselves, and then this small thing will spread around. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Chuni. Start from ourselves and then from one and to all. Again, I would like to invite Venerable Hon Kamara for your last message from the Buddhist point of view. What is your message to celebrate the World Environmental Day for 2020?
Thank you, Right Venerable Soktivi, and very happy Environmental Day. Let me be very honest with you, even you cannot demonstrate as protesters to enforce the environment, or the leaders in the world to protect the earth. If you cannot stop people from cutting the trees, please do your own part, your contribution to the healthy and clean environment. Please start from your home. Keep your bed clean, keep your room clean, keep your toilet clean, keep everything clean, especially keep your body clean. That is the first baby step to be taken to make the entire environment healthy and clean. That's all from me. And finally, from Buddhist perspective, practice meditation, especially loving kindness, loving friendliness every day to yourself. Then you will feel that everything is interconnected. You and environment is not separated. It is interconnected. So please keep practicing meditation and start from your own bed. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all honorable speakers who have spending 1 hour and 20 minutes in the whole discussion and thank you so much because I have learned a lot from this discussion, and I hope the same way the audiences who are watching also would get some more idea and knowledge about the environment, which relates closely to our daily life and how we can pay back and feel grateful for the Mother Nature, the Earth planet that is our only home for every living creatures on this. And we are very grateful also for the technical support team, Sister Bokason and Yom Kunmali for helping to support this live show. And again, thank you also the beloved audience who are watching patiently, even though there might be some shortcomings and any inconvenient cause that might happen, especially for my speaking and the lack of knowledge that I have concerning with the environment. So I also would like to take this opportunity to apologize for any mistake that might be done unintentionally or due to the lack of our knowledge. And again, we will come back and see you next week on coming Friday with another topic in English version, that is Upekha or equanimity. And again, thank you so much for three honorable speakers who have elaborated very detailed concerning with the information with the environment, especially from your perspectives, from your experiences, social aspect, meditation aspect, and also the Buddhist aspect. Because of the time constraint right now, I would not go further to talk more on this discussion. So I would like to end the discussion right now. And thank you so much for watching us. And I wish all of you the best. Happy World Environmental Day. May all be happy and be free and liberated from suffering. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.